What's going on, YouTube? I wanted to do a better job since y'all have invested in me more enough to where I can make videos and see that people are taking the long form content and they're learning from it. And I want to make sure that I do a good job of explaining what I currently have and what we're trying to achieve with the Havoc arm, the metal arm, which actually I currently don't have. So I am relying on broken, more painful prosthetics, but I did want to show y'all this one specifically because I think this comment is alluding to something that I already have or a rendition of it, a type of it. This one, you know, these prosthetics, they do have sensors in it that connect to my nerves, and the problem that I've run into with these prosthetics specifically is people's ability to build them. And so whenever you run into an obstacle of people are limited in their ability to build them, right? Just building them. I'm gonna put on my arm as I talk this to show y'all. This is a little electrode sensor spray. And you've seen, if y'all have seen enough of my content, maybe I'll do better versions of older videos. You know, the electrodes are subject to the vulnerability of the elements like dirt and sweat, especially in the Texas heat. As it cools down, it'll get a little bit easier for me to use these kind of arms because especially in Texas in the summer heat, they can get really glitchy. But then also now I live in Austin and dust is kind of an issue with the sensors specifically. But yeah, so this uses targeted muscle reinnervation, which is a video that I did. I did a whole video on it, but I think there's still a lot of confusion between the metal arm and this arm. This arm is so fragile that my current version of this arm is broken. I broke it mowing the lawn. I don't even know what's right. The thumb is broken, the finger's broken, and I got the data on that arm, and it'd been repaired 5 times since 2019, sent off to the factory to get fixed, and so now it's out of warranty because I broke it so many times. So now I'm currently waiting on it to get fixed, and the metal arm. The metal arm. This is an arm that was decommissioned because the VA just said it was like beyond saving. And so I worked on it myself to be able to get it. It's really painful, so you know it was never good to use anyways. And that's why I'm glad that people enjoy the art on this arm because you know the art was just to cover up how painful it was and the story of you know it's just like this source of pain for me, and weird that I have to use it even though it's so painful and people see it and they see the beauty of it and they're like, you know, they associate it with like me being like a superhero, and I'm like, you know, it's kind of a way to cover up, you know, me being disabled and struggling every day, you know, with the pain of having to wear it to use it for things because my injuries are so vast. But I wanted to explain that, you know, this one and all my bionics, and why I am invested in bionics is because the Marine Corps did invest in me that surgery to optimize my arm for prosthetics. So I did have a surgery that grafted my ulnar and medial nerves to my bicep and tricep heads. So whenever I use prosthetics like these, I do just think hand open and close to open and close them. And it's just that training people to be able to build prosthetics like this, you know, the VA is terrible at it. Part of my whole story is just overcoming being able to get prosthetics at all from the VA has been such an exhausting fight that I wasn't prepared for. And that's where the Havoc arm was born out of. The Havoc arm was born out of, you know, me struggling to get prosthetics from the VA, a guy hearing about it and being like, hey, I can make you something that you're not going to break, you know, with the socket that's not painful. And so Yeah, my goal is if you know, especially like with companies like Tesla, Elon, getting into the prosthetic space. I think that there are good prosthetic companies out there right now, but they're not focused on innovating arms just because it's not necessary for them to, because there's not that many of us. But yeah, something that I would like to do is take this level of technology, which is, you know, having somebody like me who's had surgeries to reinnervate, which is just graft my old nerves that I had in my arm before I was wounded to what was left of my bicep and tricep heads, to be able to control a prosthetic like this, to be able to open and close the hand by just thinking hand open and close. And let's say we could build something that wasn't as painful as this, and durable. You know what I mean? Because my biggest critique of this system is that it's, you know, it's plastic. It's not waterproof. It's not dust proof. And just as a dad, you know what I mean? Even like somebody who's living a regular life, I can't even, like this morning, because it's my other arm is on the shop, like I tried to change my son's diapers, and then it got to the point where I was trying to like shower him because it was a messy, you know, diaper change, and I had to like, oh, I have to take off my arm, and it sucks that I don't have a waterproof arm, and the VA, you know, the VA doesn't want to give me prosthetics that are waterproof because they're such their specialty ones, and I just got in an argument like that. I was like, I don't have a water resistant prosthetic, and that means that I can't shower my son, I can't bathe him, I can't wash dishes, I can't wash his hands. I have to worry about rain. I have to worry about getting near water, and so I ran into that issue because the Havoc arm's in the shop. That arm isn't from the VA. That's the, you know, the guy, the engineer who built it for me out of hearing my story. But yeah, like I do have an advanced prosthetic like this. But you know, the reason that you see me use the metal arm so much more is because, not just because the arm is less painful, because the guy who built the socket was very good at what he did. But also the durability is different. Like this right here, you know, to show you some of my future engineers, I've gotten so many comments from people that are getting into biomedical engineering, and you know, they're asking about and students who want to build tough prosthetics for people like me who want to be able to just be a dad. And you know, I push them because if I can use them to shoot guns, to lift weights, to swim, to train, then I can use them and not worry about them having a break, to be able to like help put my son in the bathtub and not get electrocuted and die or blow out a lithium battery, because this is an open circuit. And yeah, so this is an open circuit. So I can't get this anywhere near water. I can't. I've ruined a $110,000 elbow by accidentally getting caught in the rain, because I didn't know that. That's not something that they teach you whenever you're first become an amputee, and you're like, hey, by the way, you have to like avoid like drizzles. And yeah, that's become like a point of like embarrassment for me, because I'm always like super scared of getting caught in the rain. But you can see that rotation, right? All of these little bands, that's actually kind of what you could communicate as, or me, a layman's guy, it's just an open circuit, which means that connects to these coils right here, to give this power, because the battery's actually in here. And so you can't get it near water. And so that's why you see me cover it so much in so many different layers, to protect the internal components like the batteries. There's exposed wires here. So this whole shell was designed to make it tougher. But yeah, so this is kind of like an advanced version of what the person was alluding to, you know, maybe having one day. But yeah, it's just that they're so fragile at this point in time. You know, we're nowhere near, maybe in the next, maybe, you know, a company like Tesla getting into, I would love to, through YouTube, make that connection happen, because I am in Texas, to be able to work with a team like that. And I've already had some connections with them for the person who makes the Havoc arm. But that might change my view, because of Neuralink, the Optimus robot, them deciding to get into prosthetics just in the past, you know, 2 months. that changed my view on maybe how far away prosthetics that are useful for everyday life could be, as opposed to now where, like a lot of my content is just showing people, seems like I'm complaining about them, but it's because I've struggled for years and gone without prosthetics for years from the VA that, that was my reasoning for getting on social media and producing content to educate people on what amputees are going through just to get prosthetics. And so, but Tesla getting into that kind of like is changing my view on maybe how far away are we from getting, really tough advanced prosthetics that somebody like me could use, somebody could use in the Paralympics. You don't see elbows used actively in the Paralympics like you do see knees because they're not there yet. And I would love to be a part of improving that. And there's people on YouTube, working for that goal too, like Ian. Me and him have talked on social media, but like, yeah, this is kind of, that comment, this is kind of that arm, that prosthetic, it is using nerves that were grafted from what used to control my hand to my bicep and tricep heads. It's just super early and they're super fragile. And somebody like me, you know what I mean? Like, it's not just like the big things like shooting guns, boxing, swimming, those kind of things. Those are out of the reach right now for this kind of prosthetic. But even home life stuff, they're nowhere near where knees are. You know what I mean? Like, I can't get them moist. I can't get them dusty. Rain, it's a huge issue. But getting near the sink, like being able to shower, everything, a lot of my home life I'm doing with one arm, with an injured arm, in large part because my prosthetics are so vulnerable to still the elements that knees aren't really like that anymore. Knee almost, I would say like over 50% of knees have some sort of water resistance. Elbows are not to that point. Hands, some hands are, just not elbows. So if you need an elbow, you're screwed for now. But yeah, I just wanted to make a quick video talking about that because I know there's some confusion about my different arms because one of them is so much more tough than the others. And these ones, they are advanced, they're just not tough. So you don't see me doing the crazy things that I do with the Havoc arm because it's, it's in another world of toughness. But this is advanced. It's just not as, it's not movie superhero level tough. And I think that the Havoc arm being all metal and mechanical is it confuses people about where prosthetics are. And that's something that's not even commercially available yet. That's a goal of ours, not commercially available yet. But this is what is the most advanced commercially available prosthetic in the world. And it's just super, super dainty. You know what I mean? You could consider it being like a useful tool in some scenarios, but like I would say that like tools that are super, super fragile, you know what I mean, are very limited into how you can use them. So, but yeah, one day I do think we're gonna get there, and Tesla specifically jumping into that space has changed my view on how early maybe we'll get there in my lifetime. Before I was like, I've been in the space and I'm like, I don't know if we're gonna get there in my lifetime. Maybe I'll be dead by the time, that kind of stuff happens. But now, Tesla's there and I'm like, oh man, maybe somebody like Elon, the way his brain works and how hard he works for all his different projects, maybe we will get there. And I'm in Texas, so if I can help, I'll be there to help. But yeah, so maybe we'll get there in my lifetime. But thank you so much for the support, YouTube, and I just wanted to do better at making videos from the questions that I see most often.